All right. So, all right. So project is here. Again, however you would like to present it, you could use OneNote if that's the easiest because you will be writing stuff. If you want to write in OneNote and snip it into a Word document, into a PowerPoint, any of that's going to be fine. Just making sure your name's on it as well, wherever you decide. So again, graph 1 is going to be a parabolic shape, and then graph 2 is the same thing, just going the different way. So if one's up, one's going to come down. Okay, so you need to take a picture, cannot be drawn from the web, of both. Okay, so with that said, I took a picture just this morning. I told you I stare at a tree all day, and it kind of reminded me. I'm a little worried that it's a little bit of a wide parabola, but that's okay. We'll see if it works. Okay, so if you read this over, again, the red graph, basically Desmos will do everything for you. In graph 2, Desmos will do it for you, but then you must show work. So basically, you're answering one of the quiz questions again. Just read over graph 2 and make sure you're doing the things I asked for to be labeled. Other than that, the score sheet's down here for 36 points. Given that, remember in graph 1, Desmos will do it mostly. Graph 2, you have work to show. Okay? So it's really not all that difficult. All right, I'm going to transfer over to Desmos. Again, I recorded yesterday's class and I'm recording today's class. So, all right, that's Delta Math, which also needs to be done. So, all right, let me get to the right. All right, let me get out of Delta Math. Okay, so Desmos. All right. So again, yesterday, I gave you time to log in or make an account. So up here in the corner, you should have an account made. Your name should be there. It shouldn't be blank because you want to make sure it's saving under your name. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay. So hopefully you saved a picture on your computer. You took one. If not, you want to do that today. You want to go out and get started because now you're a little bit not behind, but you know, you should have had this done. Again, this is also recording. So if you don't know how to do this, then you want to watch this video. So add item, image. So I'm going to go get an image I took. Now today, this is the image I took. Okay, I went outside. All right. I used to think, okay, can I drag this? I can't drag this. So I got to change this via the point. So remember, I mean, where it is right now is fine. It doesn't really matter at all as long as your vertex is not your y-intercept. And where this printed this picture, it's not. I'm talking about this tree branch I thought looked like a pretty good parabolic shape or a parabola. All right, parabolic. Sorry, I keep saying parabolic. Parabolic shape. Sorry. Okay. Here I can leave it right here. It's fine. If I don't like where it is, of course I can move it. I mean, I could do 2. Well, I definitely don't want 2 because that puts it real close. I'm gonna leave it like where I put it. I have no problem with it. It's going to cross the x-intercepts, right? It's going to go through once I extend the lines. And remember, it's not going to be perfect. We're using real life stuff and we're coming up with the best we could do. All right. I don't know if this makes it bigger. 12 and 6. Okay. I don't want to distort it too much, but all right. I kind of wanted to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So I wanted to just make it a little bigger. So you can edit the picture and where it's going to fit on your graph as long as the vertex here is not centered, is not your y-intercept. That's it. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay. The second thing I do to come up with my equation is I'm going to come up with it in vertex form first. So what I do is I put in the standard equation for vertex form, which if you don't know, it's back in your notebook. Okay, and it's y equals a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k, where h and k are your vertex and a is the amplitude or value in front that's going to change its side. All these sliders are going to come up. Guys, if you ever have more than one standard up at a time, it will take sliders from other things. So just make sure once you do it, you close out of the standard form when you're done. So I'm going to hit all, and now my sliders are going to come up. Obviously, I need a negative graph, and I need it really wide. So that was my only concern, was how wide. Oh, it looks pretty good for me, I think. And I get it up. All right, not even that wide, but I know that it needs to be negative because of it's going down. Not too shabby. 0.23, no, going the other way. 0.19, 18, 17. Wow, look at that. That is right on my tree branch, right?
Well done. Well done.
Well done. Nailed it. I nailed it. I like it. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so you can adjust your numbers. All right. Your desmos is going to make this graph. The important thing, and I'll hold on for a second after this. I just want to get this on the video. The important thing is to write this equation down, guys, because if you lose anything or don't save, at least have this graph on a piece of paper because you can always come back. So how do I get this? This is A, this is H, and this is K. Now be careful. Y equals A, negative 0.17, X minus a negative 2. So if I go like this, you need to be careful. That's kind of silly, right? So I don't want a minus a negative. What does that become? Plus. So I need to understand that when I put in the H as negative, that turns it to a plus and 2.4. At that point, now here's the thing. Once I delete these, I can't change this graph by sliding. I would have to change this graph by numbers. So I am going to get rid of these sliders. I'm going to get rid of the standard form because if I want to do it anything else with it, you don't want to have that stuff there or whatever. So here, okay, so I clean that up and now that's my graph. It kind of stinks. I like when it's a different color. I wonder if I copy it over in the exact same one there, it'll change its color. And that's only me. I can't figure out how to change the color. You might be able to. All right. So I copied it over and I literally just copied it because I want it to be a red line instead of a black line, only because my picture is so dark. So now I can see my tree branch, right? Everybody sees the tree branch that I'm tracing, and that's my graph. And guys, if you look, there's already gray dots here, here, and here, which are all my important information. That's my y-intercept, given it's 0, comma, a number. This is my x-intercept, given it's a number, comma, 0. Okay, those are things I'm going to have labeled. So there's numerous ways you can present this. I would probably even put them on the graph. So for example, that was there, negative, I have to write down, I can't remember numbers, negative 5.757, comma 0. So I would probably do 0, comma, negative 5.757, I'm going to label it. I'm going to put x-intercept. Okay. Oh, good thing I'm in the wrong spot. That's all right. Comma, 0, comma, 0, x-intercept. And now that's on my graph. Now, when I copy this and put it into PowerPoint, I would probably also on the side say x-intercepts this and this. I actually even like, you can put the value. Okay, I can actually label it on there so at least I know you understand it, but I do think it's important to have it written in the PowerPoint as well. Your vertex, which you should know because it comes right from your formula, right? So I want my vertex labeled at -2, 2.4. That's up there. My other x-intercept, which was 1.757, comma, 0. Okay, so 1.757, comma, 0, x-intercept again. And then lastly, the y-intercept also needs to be labeled, and that's 0, 1.72. Okay, the graph's going to give you everything. 0, 1.72. Okay, all right. For graph 1, when I go back to the project, I'm looking. It says you need the verse. Yep, go ahead.
Ms. Richards, how do you save this?
Okay,
like, how do you make
perfect.
sure it's saved?
So up here, left side, green button, save, boom. And you should do that every so often. Perfect. Thank you, thank you. So left-hand corner up here, saved. And then whenever I want to come back, okay, so I'm going to label this untitled graph. You just click on it. I'm going to label it tree, save. Okay, so now I have my tree graph. And here I can, if I hit my name or if I hit this button, it'll bring things. So yesterday I messed around with parabola 1. I used, the arch to do it, but now I want to go back to my tree and I open and everything should be saved there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, so so if I go back to, if I go back to the red graph, it says on whatever you're presenting, you would take this picture, okay, and it says be sure to print your image with the graph on top of it. When you print, make sure you come up. There's a couple ways you can go. If you're printing, print, okay, and it'll bring you to a print preview. That would be a perfect print preview. If you were preview it, we really can't print unless you're making a poster and dropping it off at my house, which I don't think you want to. But you would just snip, the snip tool, SNIP, right? I hope we're all good with this. And I can come here and take this whole thing, and now I just right click, copy this image into whatever I'm presenting. And then I would just nicely relabel what the vertex is, the intercept is, y-intercept, x-intercepts on a piece of paper. Now, you also got...
So you're just only sharing your Chrome window. So if you're trying to show us the snip tool, we can't see it.
Oh, all right.
So if you reshare your whole desktop, we can see what you're doing.
Okay. All right. All right, let me see if I don't even know if I know how to do, okay, desktop. Okay, so, okay. If I go to snip, new, Oh, that was in paint. I was doing my tree. Snip. Here, I go to new, and I just snip this, and then I go, and then I go to file, copy. I can copy and paste this into anything, what you want. So the snip tool is just SNIP down in your Windows bar. I'm assuming most of you have used this by now. But and then once I paste this, I would also probably just rewrite my vertex, my intercept. But also, guys, the most important thing is you need your equation. So you have to make sure whatever you're presenting that I see the equation. And that you would be writing this on whatever you're presenting to me, and not probably in snip. But I'm just saying, if you don't tell me the equation, that's obviously the number one most important thing. And then the last thing for graph 1 is to take this equation and put it into standard form. Okay, and that I would probably show on a piece of paper in OneNote or whatever, and snip that as well. I mean, I can show that as a last thing to do. Let me, I'll do that in OneNote. Give me 1 second. Let me write down my equation. Okay, so I'm going to pretend I'm going to copy this. Okay. Let me go to my notebook real quick. Okay. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say, okay, here's my project. I think if I control V, perfect. Okay, the graph's there. Don't make that graph, don't leave that so sloppy. But I can say my equation is y equals negative 0.17 x plus 2 squared plus 2.4. Okay. I'm going to make that nicer writing. I'm going to make that Times New Roman. I'm going to make it 15 font, 30 font, right? It's the most important thing that we have. I probably wouldn't have copied, my sloppy blue writing over there, but okay. And I would have got this presented nicely somewhere. Okay, over here. I would have said, okay, this is vertex form of my graph. Vertex form. Okay. Then I, underneath of this, will change this to standard. And I'm going to show you one time on the video how you do it, and then it's recorded. Here needs to be separated, needs to be expanded. Sorry, not separate, expanded. So x squared, 2x, 2x. Now remember, yours is going to be different, but you're going to be able to figure out that you do whatever in here first. So I get x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now that's in parentheses with a negative 1.7 outside and a 2.4 on the outside. So I did on the quizzes, some people were now adding the 2.4 here. You can't do that yet. This is still in parentheses with a multiplier out in front. Now I multiply, so negative 0.17 x squared. I have no clue what 4 times negative 0.17 is, so I'm going to distribute that. It's negative 0.68x, and negative 0.17 times 4, again, is minus 0.68 plus 2.4 comes down last. I leave my answer, minus 0.68x, and now I put these together, and my answer is plus 1.72 equals y. This, then, I would have said is standard form, okay? And maybe because it's a project and you care, you would maybe do it a little nicer. Maybe you type it. I don't know. It's up to you. That's your creativity. Okay, let me write that down. I just want to show you. And then plus 1.72. So I showed you how to do it from one to the other. All right. And then the last thing you would just need is to like label these again if you wanted to. I mean, if they're that nicely labeled on the graph, you don't have to do it. If you didn't put all the stuff, then I need to know that your y-intercept is at 0, 1.72. If it is as nicely labeled as mine and I can see it, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. You're also going to be sharing your Desmograph with me via my email. You'll also be able to go to your graph and check everything. Okay. Then lastly, let me just go back to Desmos and just show you this. You can check yourself. So here. So when I come back here, I want to type in the equation I just got, negative 1.7x squared minus 0.68 plus 1.72. Guess what? Of course, it's a different color. Why does it have to be red? I mean, all right. So I'm going to make this one blue by just retyping it. I'm not sure how to change the colors. All right. So look here. If I move the blue, it should be right on top of my red one, because all I did was mathematically changed it to the different forms. So they better end up perfectly on top of each other. And it doesn't matter which one you copy or print. Yeah. Yeah. You can copy and paste this stuff on the left-hand side as well. I don't know. There is a way to like transport, but either way, but here's my thing. When you're all done everything, you're going to go here and email me. You're going to copy the link to this graph and you're going to copy the link to your second one and you're going to send them both to me in an email, and we'll talk about that at a later time. So I'm not doing that yet. But so yeah, so when you're done, you would share your graph by copying this link in an email and then your second one. So if I was sending tree, I would paste that one. And then if let me go back. I didn't save. So that's the other thing. You got to make sure you're saving.
Ms. Richards, is there a way to label the axis of symmetry in Desmos?
I mean, again, the axis of symmetry is a vertical line. So x equals -2. It's a vertical line that runs right through the vertex. I don't see it going to be able to let me label it, but you could put that line in and label it on your own when you draw on it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mind the axis of symmetry if that's something you want to, see. I wish they would let us. I'm not that good at it to change. I like to change it to a dotted line or something. Maybe if I here, what if I click on it? No, I don't think it has any properties. Drags it, but yeah. So the axis of symmetry runs right through if you're interested in that. If you don't want it, you can always just click on it. It comes off. You can leave it. So that's it. The second graph is exactly the same thing. I would do everything I did here, except I would be showing also how to get the intercepts by using the quadratic formula. After Desmos has to get you this graph. So you need to get this graph, and then you need to change it to standard form, which is here. And then by standard form, you would use the quadratic formula to show me how to get -5.757. I know what the intercepts are. You mathematically have to show it to me. And then, you just have to show what I already showed in OneNote on how to change from this to that. Okay, so you'll read it over. You read it over. Projects don't, you start doing them, and that's where you get stuck. So that was a lot today. That, hopefully you started and got a good start on one of your pictures. If not, this recording's going to be in Canvas under, I'll put it in the chat. Okay. With my OneNote while up chat. All right. Okay. 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 And then the video is in Canvas, modules, class Q2, and then today's date, 12/11. So if you want to go back and just watch on how to do this, again, for help or whatever. So, all right. I suggest just messing around. Obviously, I'll take any questions via email. Also, Monday, like I said, is office hours. Like we decided, it doesn't come on till 8:30, but I'll be here. And so if you were started and got stuck, I can share your screen or work with you or whatever you need. Be creative. I'm more excited about the pictures. Like I said, I don't know, is a tree the most exciting thing? I don't know, but I stare at it every day outside my window when I teach. And so I thought it was kind of cool. I think, hold on, if I show you, I know some of you don't believe me. You might believe me. If I, okay, show you, there's my window, and there's the tree I stare at. So it has a bunch of parabolas in it. And so, all right. Okay, guys, so enjoy, go have fun. Happy Friday. Supposed to